All right, folks, you're about to meet the latest addition to the Cliff Freeman Group. You know him. He's a celebrity here in town. Fox Sports, Texas Cable News Network, CBS. Coming up next, the man we love to love, Brady Tinker on Cliff's Notes. Real estate agents, are you struggling with the day-to-day grind, dialing for dollars, putting in hours of floor time with little to show for it? Are you looking for tips, tricks, and tactics to accelerate your career as an agent that will have you closing more homes, working with more clients, and earning more money than ever before? Hi, my name's Cliff Freeman, and I've spent the past 2 decades of my real estate career running one of the top brokerages in DFW and personally coaching over 1,000 high-performing real estate professionals across North America. I created this podcast to share the strategies and tactics you need to explode your real estate business. I guarantee it.
You know, it's funny you say you don't take no. I've always said no is my second favorite answer, because as a salesperson, the middle is no place to be. Now, it's different, I think, in our industry, and I actually gave that a lot of thought, because just because someone's not quite ready doesn't mean they won't be ready. And I actually have watched several of your podcasts with people who said, you know, there's something to continuing to mine that business of people who might be a year off or might be 3 months off or whatever it may be. Yeah. But if you've made a connection, those are the people you have to keep working. And I get that. It was not really that way in most of the sales that I did. If I made a sales pitch to someone about the TV show or the radio show or whatever it is, and the answers that I gave them weren't correct, it's not enough listeners or viewers. Now, everything is also based on social media, right? But if the answers weren't correct, then they weren't correct. And people would basically say, we tried. Nice to meet you. It's not for us. And in doing what I was doing too, I was always going up against the ticket and people like that, and I couldn't compete. There was no way I could compete with the numbers that they were getting. Yeah. So talented and so amazing. So I had to sort of figure out what it was on the periphery or the gray area that I could offer people besides, and a lot of it was just my passion of, this is what I do. I really love to do this. And so when I say competitive cameras on the air and I tell them where I got my cameras and you know how I get treated there, people will at least know I'm a brand advocate because I use what you do. And that they can't get from the ticket for the most part. You're buying commercials, you're buying spots, you're buying short reads. So I found, you know, I sought the level that I needed to seek to be able to get a sale. So I think it's a little bit different in this and
yeah, I think your sales cycle is probably a little shorter in many cases, because we have buyers who hop on our site and search for a year or 18 months, 2 years before they decide to buy. But the thing is that it's incredible. The National Association of Realtors does a study, and I refer to this all the time. But only 2% of sellers hired their agent because of the firm that they were affiliated with. And so what that speaks to is, it's not about whether you have a balloon on your sign or your sign is red or you wear a yellow jacket, gold jacket when you go in and you've got that logo on your card. They hire you because of you, because they believe you're integrous. You came highly recommended from a friend, a coworker, or a family member.
You treated people the right way.
And it's exactly right. And you knew what you were doing. I do want to share this. It's important for the audience to hear this as well. I was at a conference one time, and I heard the speaker put it this way. He was describing what you need to be successful in the real estate industry. He said there are 3 things. He said the first thing is that you must have product knowledge. You must know what you're selling. You must be current and up to date on the houses that are available in a particular market, what's going on in the economy, and so forth. And he said, write this down. So write this down. That contributes about 15% to your ability to succeed in this business. Okay. And then he said, number 2 is your sales skills. Knowing how to sell, right? Knowing the scripts, the dialogues, the closes, all of that thing. And that's worth about 25%. So together...
So we're at 40.
We're at 40. Those are 2 out of the 3.
Right.
So by far, he said, this is the most important part. And some of you are going to have trouble with this. And some of you are going to do really good right out of the gate. He said, number one, 60% of your success will be determined by how confident you are when you go on that listing appointment. And so how do people get confidence, Brady? What do you think? How do people just get, some people, you just look them in the eye, like, you walk in, it's the Southwest Airlines pilot that's got, 40 years, and he looks at you and says, we're going into San Francisco, one of the most dangerous airports to land in bad weather. And he says, I've done this 1,000 times. Sit back, have a cocktail. Don't worry about it, right?
When I talk in front of high school kids and stuff like that, and do TV, it's not a nerve-wracking thing for me because I am ready. I am prepared. Mm-hmm. I know who I'm talking to. I know what I'm talking about. Certainly sports is the same way. You have to have sort of a broad picture of things, and you have to understand who's asking the questions and what answers people want. But if you know all of that, then confidence is bred from the knowledge of what it is that you're doing, who you're talking to, what you're selling, and what the goals are. And I imagine I've been reading and listening a lot about your industry too, and reminding myself that there are times, even now in the last few weeks, where I was selling podcasts where I was trying too hard to make a sale, mm-hmm. when the truth is I need to be listening more. And people that I would go in and talk to aren't used to that. I literally talked to someone a couple of weeks ago, and I said, if I could bring you anything via radio, TV, podcasting, and they know the least about podcasting, what would it be? What do you, when your boss comes to you and says, you spent this much money this month on marketing, how did it contribute to our ROI, and what did we miss? What did you miss? If I could give you anything. And she was really taken aback. And she said, to be honest with you, send me some information and I'll think on that question and I'll give you an answer. And I really felt like that was a win, that's going to end up being a win.
Right.
Because no one ever asks her what she cares about.
Right.
So,
how does the doctor know what to give you if they don't ask you all the questions?
Absolutely.
Right?
Well, in years of doing the Cowboy Life podcast, which were stories from Dallas Cowboys, if I just went to the locker room, especially with kids, if I went to the locker room and I said, hey, tell me your story, a lot of these guys are not used to talking, plus they're leery of us, and they would say, I don't really have a story. And I'm thinking, young man, you're in the NFL, and there's a star on the side of your helmet, and your owner's worth about $8 billion, and the opportunities for you to market yourself beyond being good at football here in this little window of probably 3 years, because the NFL stands for not for long, are tremendous. And you have a story. So I stopped doing that, and I went back, and you do a deep dive on whoever it is you think you want to do a story on, and somewhere in there's a high school story, or a preacher story, or a mom and dad story, or a raised by an uncle story. And when you take that in and say, I heard this, then all of a sudden they're like, oh, you're not asking me the same normal stuff. You've actually done a little bit of homework. And I have a feeling, as best we can do it, it's the same. And then I have to offer them television, radio, or podcasts. You have to offer them a marketing buffet of, we're going to find you that home, or we're going to sell your home for you. And all of these people are going to see it, and it's going to be presented in this manner. It's very similar, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see, you speak like someone who has years of experience in the real estate business.
I'm
picked it up
old, Cliff,
like
just
this.
like you.
I don't like, let's not say old, let's say experienced.
Okay, very good. How about worn in?
Worn in. Hey, Zig Ziglar said it's better to wear out than to rust out, right?
I agree with that.
And the other thing he said was, God gave you 2 ears, you should listen twice as much as you speak. Yeah. So, we talk, there's a book called Question-Based Selling by Michael Fries. It's the Bible at IBM. When you go into sales at IBM, that's the first book they give you and tell you to read it. But it is, our industry is not about, it's consultative. It's not coming in with a solution until you know what the problem is, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not just they got to sell their house. There's a million things behind what's motivating them to sell that house that you have to understand.
What do you want? What are you scared of, right? What are you worried about? Why? What can I solve for you? What can I make you breathe a little bit easier?
Well, sometimes they want to sell today. Sometimes they don't have a time frame. Right. Sometimes it's a distress sell. They're having financial difficulties. Mm-hmm. I swear I have probably am guilty of practicing in areas that require a license that I don't have, because I think I've been a marriage counselor, a psychologist,
therapist.
oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, it's just part of being an agent's job.
In
We run
today's
into-
world, didn't we miss it on not being a therapist? I think I could have done that. I really did.
This
really
world is-
comfortable chair.
Yeah.
I could have done that.
Yeah, this is crazy. It
Yeah.
really is. Still, people, it's just history repeats itself. It's just it's sad. It really is. But,
It's-
there's always hope here. There's always hope. Well, tell us a little bit, Brady, what's that first transaction of yours going to look like? Is it going to be like that first TV show you did where you had 54 million people and you were just cold as ice, man?
Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't it be great if I accidentally walked into a $2 or $3 million sale that someone was like, I used to know you when you were coaching C3 and you were good with the kids.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yes.
Thanks. And we really need to sell this house, and it's mostly paid off, and we're relaxing. We're moving to Boca, so there's no pressure, right? I'd be like,
Right.
Great. I have a feeling it'll be similar to that, and I will be like, oh, this is easy. And then the second one or the third one will be like pulling teeth, and I'll be like, okay. It's not easy. It's not easy, but I can do it.
Yeah, the real estate gods make sure that you're humble. They will throw in those ones that make
100%.
you pay for all of the easy ones. You'll get
You earn
get
every
the
cent of
occasional
that.
one that you wish you'd never gotten out of bed that day.
The 8 p.m. drive across town that's 45 minutes because someone needs to see something else.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh!
I'm ready for
yeah.
that. It's all right.
Yeah. Well, it is. Our business is very emotional, and what our job is really to understand the emotions and then try to bring some logic into the picture, because most people, the outcome they're looking for is they want a good outcome. They want to get typically the biggest check at closing, and they want it done in their time frame. And so there's a lot of ways to get there, a lot of ways to get it done. And in this market that we're in, and by the way, you don't even you're not even fazed by the market right now. And a lot of people, we potentially, in my humble opinion, could lose as many as 300,000 agents in the next 12 to 24 months. We've gained that many in the last 5 or 6 years because they saw their neighbor pull in with a new Escalade and they knew that she was in real estate, and so they thought that was their gravy train, the ticket to unlimited wealth and everything else that everybody always wants. So, but the reality is that having a skill set is going to be a requirement, not a suggestion, going forward here. And that's why I'm excited for your gift of discernment, knowing the right place to plug in, and because it is going to be a challenging market, but it's going to be only challenging for those people who don't have the skill set. Right. And so for the rest of us who've been doing this for 35 years, this is we kind of look forward to these seasons because it helps us kind of wash out some of the, and everybody needs to do that. We just have to, we don't want to be a bloated industry with too many agents and so forth. If you think about it, there's probably one agent for every 10 people.
Is that right? That's
I don't
the
know.
number?
I'm just making a
Mercy.
wild guess, but I mean, it is. There's not a million agents in Dallas-Fort Worth, but it feels like it sometimes. If it's the Pareto rule to the extreme,
effect, yeah.
right? That's the 80-20. It's really about 95% or the money is made by 5% of the agents. So, but
So you're saying, is that nationally? Are you talking nationwide? We're going to lose that many?
yeah.
Or is that just local?
no, there's about 1.6 million
Is it worldwide?
realtors right now, just in the U.S. Yeah.
That's a big number. Whenever those hills and dales hit when I was trying to sell something, I always saw it as I'm better equipped than most. So while the profit level may go down just a little bit, the opportunity may be bigger because many are going to run. Many are going to retreat because they never really believed in what they were doing, and maybe they don't know enough about what they're doing. Right. So there are still going to be people buying and selling houses. There are still people. When the economy got bad, people were still buying radio and TV.
Yeah.
They were. They just needed someone who could talk them through it, who was equipped to quell their fears, right, and give them a little extra and make them feel good about the investment they were making. We're really running into that now, right? We are just short of a recession most likely, and people are really holding on tight. Prove it. What are the numbers, right? How many people are on social media? All that stuff for me. Right, and how much interaction is there? It's becoming so much more specific, and I think your business is the same, and I'm going to need you to teach me all of that.
Yeah, no, you got it. We're here for you.
Yeah.
We're just speaking in general kind of terms here. We're still about 85,000 units short of a balanced inventory here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I had this just came to mind here. I don't know why, but I was thinking of Dr. Ed Williams. He was a professor that I had at Rice in the MBA program. He taught entrepreneurship. And he was talking about businesses. Why would you get started in a particular business? Well, he was one of the founders in Houston of SCI, Service Corp International. You know what business they were in? The funeral home business. It was very fragmented, lots of mom and pop. But he said, think about it. What's something that everybody's got to do on this planet?
Die.
We're going to die. Right?
How morbid is that?
But I mean, talk about a recession-proof business. I mean, it's just it's going to happen, right? And so that's a very solid business to get into. Well, everybody's got to have a place to live, right? Got to have a house over their head.
Right.
And, the long-term prospects for our industry are terrific. And the short-term prospects are good too. It's just that we got a Fed that is out of their frickin' control right now, that's trying to drive the economy down into the dirt. To come up with they're so old school. They're
still turning their dials.
Yeah, and we should have, instead of just monetary policy, there's got to be fiscal policy here. We got to stop spending and printing money like we are. It's absolutely ridiculous.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, but that's what happens. Sometimes you get what you pray for. You always get what you vote for.
Some mornings I get up with my Beagle and we drive to McDonald's to get a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit. And on weekends, quite often, in a very affluent part of town over here in Frisco, the doors are closed. You cannot go in. You can only go through the drive-through because she can't get enough people to come to work.
Oh, I know it.
And she's offering between $12 and $16 an hour to work at McDonald's.
Yeah.
And she can't get enough people to come to work because
That's
of all the
wild.
money that was handed out in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
A lot of people just prefer free money.
Yeah, that's amazing. You know
Kinda
what?
shocking.
It's not a surprise.
No, it's
No,
not.
I mean-
it's true.
Yeah,
Most people will take free money.
yeah.
So-
You're not going to believe this.
We're out of time.
We're out of time. This is the end of the show.
Flow, huh?
Can you imagine? I mean, I knew it was going to go fast, but I had no idea it was going to go this fast.
You're
That's
really good at
incredible.
this, by the way. And it
What?
just goes to show you know exactly what you're doing. So how hard was this for you when you first came in here, for you?
Oh, it was terrifying.
Was it really? Now, why? What brain power wise? Why was it terrifying? You're smart. You know
man.
your industry.
He was afraid your son was going to see him and
That's
and
what it
make
was.
fun of him.
All my friends out
Well, I'm
there.
sure that happened.
They probably are watching now.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, it just takes time. I think anybody that's never been in front of a camera like this before can be a little scared.
Lights, camera,
action.
Yeah.
The guy over there telling you what you're doing wrong. And when wait till you get on TV and they put an IFB in your ear,
Right.
and you're talking, and you're supposed to go to the next thing or the next thing, and he's talking.
Yeah.
So you're sifting through the director or the producer saying we're going to this, we're going to run this and this and that and the other, and you're still supposed to be talking.
Right.
Now, there were times when I answered early in my career. So I'd be
Right.
like, no. I said, what's this? I can't remember that name. And I got two voices in my ear saying, Bill and Steve. And I'm like, no, that's not it. and I looked at the camera and I'm like, well, I have help. It's just not very good help.
Right.
And we just kept going.
Yeah.
So
That's wild. Yeah. The only time I see these lights is in a dentist chair. That's what's
exactly
Yes,
right.
that's-
Open wide.
Exactly. Brady, I'm going to let you have the last statement here. Is there anything that we didn't get a chance to talk about, just real briefly? How about a message? Do you have a message for our audience, for anybody who's contemplating? I mean, you made your choice to come here, and we're grateful that you're here, and I know that you did it for reasons. If somebody wanted to reach out to you and understand a little more about your decision process, and about why you're so excited about your career, would you be willing to take a call or an email from them?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're all different humans, but I was always a team guy. There was nothing about it. I love coaching these kids. I love being part of a team.
Yeah.
Even playing golf in college, golf is a very individual sport, but we were a team. You needed to win 5 matches for us to win, the event.
Sure.
And so there was just something that always tickled me about having a team, the support of a team, and reaching out and supporting someone else.
Yeah.
All the way back to when I was a kid, 5, 6, 7 years old, my first baseball team. We had 3 of us that were really good players, some that were just okay, and we had 2 or 3 guys that were just awful, couldn't walk and chew gum. And my coach at that time took everybody on that team, and we built up the 3 players that couldn't play like crazy. And I had no idea how that would affect me as a person, but it made me feel great.
Yeah.
It made me feel great, and everybody rooted for everybody, and I think I've taken that lesson as a young man and really lived by it. So yeah, anybody that wants to know why I'm here because this is something I believe that I can do. I have a sales background. I'm not afraid, and now I know I have a team.
Yeah, well, you got a great heart too, and that's
yeah.
that's what counts. What's the best way to get a hold of you? Are you on social media?
Yeah,
or?
at DFW Sports Beat for social media,
Okay.
Twitter and stuff like that. DFWSportsBeat.com, and you can email me, BradyCTinker@yahoo.com, middle initial C.
Yahoo.
Yeah, Charles.
All right.
Grandfather
Brady
was Charlie.
Charles.
Oh, wow.
Brady Charles Tinker, man, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show, my friend.
Thank you. It's been great. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this adventure.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I told you we were going to be bringing the fire today, and we brought the fire. Hey, it's great to see everybody, and we're praying for our friends down in Florida on the East Coast and the West Coast as that horrible hurricane makes its way through. And you guys in Charleston, look out. We're going to camp angels on the coastline there and keep that nasty thing away from you. All right, next week, I'm going to be in Boca, and then we'll be in Vegas, so it'll be a couple of more weeks. But we will be back soon with some more additions to the Cliff Freeman Group. Ginger and Edward, our friends from Tyler, Texas, are going to be on the show. So you guys tune back in next time on Cliff's Notes. All right, folks, tune in to Cliff's Notes every Thursday at 1 o'clock Central for the tips, tricks, and tactics to explode your business. I guarantee it.